I didn't know my face looked so rosy. Am I okay though? I look like fish shizzle. She's listening.
Amen. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of She Means Well.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one, Abby.
Yes, and as you guys can see today, we are honored to have our grandma, our Gaga, the one and only,
The woman, the myth, the legend,
the queen. The queen has landed.
Penelope Lynn Fry.
She has
She's
landed on the She Means Well set.
Yeah.
Queen Bee's here.
Gaga, we're so happy to have you on here.
I'm so honored that you would invite me.
Oh, I want to cry. I know.
No.
Our listeners have heard a couple tidbits here and there about you. They know how special you are to us. So I think this will be enjoyable for them to finally get to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Love to all.
Although, like, people know her as Gaga, her real name. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Gog.
I am Penelope Lynn Fry, and my grandkids call me Gaga, and my great grandkids as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because you weren't always Gaga. You were grandma for years until Abby came along, really. And it was when you were probably like, what, 2 or 3?
Gaga, what was it? I was little because
Little, and you're my youngest grandchild,
Right.
last grandchild, and then I have 12 altogether.
Woo!
And then I've been blessed with 11 great grandkids.
Oh my. Busy family.
But
Yeah.
Gaga started with Abigail, yes.
Yeah. I couldn't pronounce grandma, and so I started saying Gaga, and it stuck.
She's Gaga, the OG Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And all our friends know her as Gaga, too.
I know. I was telling Gaga that on our way over here. I said, I'll have friends that I'll run into and they'll say, I saw Gaga at the store. And I said, all right, or how's Gaga? Like everyone refers to as Gaga. I love it.
I know.
And people that I run into that hear one of my grandkids call me, they always laugh and they say, Gaga? But we'll be in a store and they'll be over 5 or 6 aisles and they want me and they'll just yell, Gaga.
There's only one head turning for that.
I know.
There's not a ton of Gagas in the world.
Oh.
But I love it. I just want them to call me. That's for sure.
Oh, Gaga, we love you. We're so thankful to have you here and as our first guest.
Yes.
Oh,
We
I'm
ha-
so blessed. Thanks, girls.
Yeah, this is a big day for She Means Well. This is a big day for us three, I think, because we're just so excited to do this.
Oh, yeah.
And the three of us are such good friends.
We
Mhm.
are.
Yeah.
You were just so special to our whole family, Gogs. Like there's so many memories of like fond times from childhood. And you're always a part of that for me.
Yeah.
And for you, I'm sure I can
And
speak for
adulthood.
you. Yeah,
And
there's just
adulthood.
so many fun, sweet memories that I have. And it's like Gaga's always been a part of it.
You've always
mean
been there,
that.
Gaga. I mean, you've always been, all of us grandkids can agree that you're the biggest cheerleader. Honestly, you're always at the sports events, at every single family function, every birthday, and more. So, and not everybody gets to have that relationship with their grandma. And I know that we're extremely blessed. So just thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Your words and your heart mean everything to me.
Oh.
And, I was raised by my grandmother, your great-great-grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
D. Ida Moses, and I always called her Mom. And she raised me from the time I was 12 until I was 21 or 2 when I got married.
Wow.
So grandmas are very special.
They really are. I'm slightly laughing when you said cheerleader. You forgot your pom-pom over there, Gogs.
Oh, I did. I have a
Dang.
pom-pom I carry in my purse. And when I'm really happy or celebrating someone in the family, I use it.
She just whipped it out at breakfast earlier. She said, when I'm really enjoying myself, girls, this is what I do. And whoosh, out comes this sparkly silver pom-pom.
We'll show it before this is over.
You were so much fun, Gog.
Oh, girls, I love you so much. Abigail and Babajauzi, which is Bailey, have been so special in my life and have taught me so much. You know, when I first got my first cell phone, Abigail is the one that taught me totally how to use it.
Yeah.
And she was the youngest grandchild. And I remember sitting down next to her side by side, and she'd say, "Now, Gaga, you do this and do that." I had to call her a few times and say, "Now, what do I do?"
But Gaga, you do it all on your own now. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like you know how to do that. All of that
Oh,
stuff now.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I have to say, whenever I talk to people, I'm like, oh, I was texting my Gaga and she
Yeah.
said this or that. You and your Gaga, your grandma, you text? I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every day. Well, not every day, but several times in a month we do.
Oh, Gaga,
Mhm.
and you're very, I just gotta say, savvy for, I mean, it's not easy to stay up to date. I, even myself, obviously,
Yeah.
Abby gives me a hard time. I want to check out on the technology train. I'm like, I know what I need to know and I don't want to learn anything else. So hats off to you for like learning something that's like, I don't know. The kids these days, they just like Filson, she just knows
Oh,
technology.
my great granddaughter Filson, she just turned 6, and she spins circles around me
Yeah.
with computer knowledge. It's amazing.
I know. I think about because I grew up almost my entire life on technology, like on a phone. I mean, yeah, my entire life. There's always been phones my lifetime, but going from like not having cell phones to then learning how to do all the cell phones, then all of the Apple stuff and the iPads, and that would be hard. That's a lot.
I see why
It
people
is.
are like, I don't need
Me
it.
too. Yeah.
So,
I mean, you've lived your whole life without it,
yeah.
Well, you know
but you do
what?
good.
You both are savvy for computer stuff and cell phones, and my thing were old movies. I know all the old movies
Yeah.
of the 1940s and 50s.
Mhm.
Oh, I should clarify this right now. I was born February of 1940. I am 83 years old. Young.
I knew you were going to say that.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Your birthday's coming.
In
It
February.
is.
Yep.
February 1. You always say that.
Yes,
Mhm.
February 1. The day before groundhogs. I'm so glad.
Oh, on actual Groundhog's Day. That would be rough.
Yeah.
I don't want to have it on that day. But anyway, my life is very, very blessed. And these are two of my biggest blessings right here.
Oh, that's
we
so
love you,
sweet.
I
Gog.
mean that with all my heart.
There's
Mm.
a couple of significant things that stand out. I mean, many, but off the top of my head, significant things that stand out that you've taught us over the years. And one, arguably not the most important, but on a, smells matter. And my dad used to always say there's nothing worse than a pretty girl that smells like BO, which is true. Any girl,
Oh,
forget if you're pretty or
That's
not.
Yeah.
true. Yes.
That's
Forget
so
it.
true.
But you taught me with perfume.
Mm-hmm.
This is to everybody out there. If you don't already know, now you know. Every perfume smells different on everybody. So when
Yes.
you smell something that smells really good on somebody, it might not mix well for you.
Yeah.
And we were just reminiscing about that in the car today, and you have a story about that. There's a reason why you know that so well, huh?
Well, yes. When I worked for Boeing as a secretary, there was a lady that got on the elevator every day when I did to go up to our offices, and she smelled divine. So one day I got the courage and I asked her, "Can you tell me, please, what you're wearing?" And I wish I could remember the name. It was very popular as the years went by. And so I went to the Bon Marché and I spent like $30, which was like 60 now, I guess, but I saved up for it. And I bought this perfume and I put it on and it was horrible.
It's
It
true.
was-
They can smell different.
Oh,
Yeah.
and here I'd spent $30 on this. I don't know what happened to that bottle, but I only wore it a couple times.
Yeah.
Flushed it. Probably.
I don't know what I did.
That's one of those things. If someone tells you smell good from something you're wearing, then just noted. Because that means it's working for you.
Yeah. That's true.
Yes, that's good. Oh, and Abigail and Bailey always smells so good.
Oh.
You do, girls. You always smell great.
Thanks, Gogs.
I love kissing you
I don't.
in your neck.
Oh, well, good. That's
Oh.
a target spot.
It
Yeah,
is.
right.
Or what does my mom call it? Another target spot. She always like sprays, like her butt, and she says this is the excuse me in the movie theater.
Oh, that is an important spritz.
It
you
is,
spritz it
yeah.
and then do a backwards walk.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
know what my mom, Mary Jane, always told me? I used to sit on the toilet seat lid, gazing up at her as she was dressing and putting her makeup on before she'd go out. And she said, "Now, honey, you put your perfume where your skin has friction, where it moves, like in your this little area.
Your
Like
elbow.
the inner
Yes.
corner of your elbow.
Uh-huh. And then she said, always the last spray, always have it be under your nose on this part of your lip because whether
Oh.
you smell good or not, you'll think you smell good.
Ah!
It'll make you very happy.
Oh, I love that. I've
That's
never heard you say
good.
that.
I know. I don't think I've ever told you that, but I can remember her saying that.
Oh, I'm going to add that little dab right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll make you happy. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? That's hilarious. If you stink. Sorry. That's genius.
Yeah, even if you stink, you won't know it, and you'll be blissful and happy and gay.
Put that in my back pocket.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh,
it.
that's hilarious. Abby, I feel like there's some we wrote down in our notes stuff that Gaga's taught us, and that was one of mine, the perfume 101, but you have one that you wrote down.
Okay, yes, something that I'll always take with me from you, Gaga, is you've taught me how to be able to laugh at yourself. And you're, I feel like, so unapologetically you all of the time. And sometimes you just gotta stop and laugh at yourself.
That's right. 'Cause there's
Mm-hmm.
nobody funnier than yourself.
Exactly.
And to laugh at your mistakes and, just not make life so tough. Just
Yeah.
laugh, and it strengthens your character on the inside. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think people appreciate that too. It's kind of a humbling mark, maybe.
Right. Because life is hard. And so if you can't just
Very.
stop and just, you know what, that was really silly that I said that, or that was really dumb that I did that.
Yeah.
Laugh about it. Shake it off.
Right.
The
right.
quicker
Gosh,
you laugh about it, the less it sticks. Other people can't let it stick to
Mm,
you,
that's
you know?
right.
Yeah. Similarly, something I still do to this day, after I have a good cry, you know what I do?
Mm-mm.
I go to the bathroom and splash my face with some water.
Oh,
You've always said that. And
Oh.
I put that in my
Oh.
back pocket too.
you're supposed to put it on your face, Abby, not.
Not your back pocket.
Good one.
Gaga, you are so funny. Okay, so we actually wanted to set the scene a little bit for everybody. We are so blessed to have a Gaga in our life, and not everybody has a Gaga. So
Mhm.
we want to share our Gaga with you.
Oh,
We really
thank
do.
you. I would love to be shared.
Oh my goodness, Gaga, you have quite the testimony in life, and you've experienced a lot of life, happy things,
Right.
hard things, silly things. Okay, so Gogs, getting
Yes.
into the family tree a little bit. You mentioned that your grandma raised you, and people don't know why, the people. But would you mind sharing a little bit, just briefly, of how that came to be?
Sure.
How we came to be.
How we came
yes.
to be, yeah.
That's so cute. Well, let's see. I would like to share this because I just feel like a person's life should be like an open book because things that we've gone through are able to touch other people that are going through the same thing. And so, excuse me, I'll share this part of my life. It was the pretty tough part of my life when I was 10 to 13, I guess. My parents were wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. They loved me very much, but they were both alcoholics. And when my mom was 36, she tried to take her life 2 times, and I'm the one that found her. And she was hospitalized. And at that point, my grandmother invited me to come and live with her in her darling little apartment in Inglewood, California. And she had the shiniest floors. You could eat off of those floors. They were so clean and shiny. And she starched her sheets and her pillowcases. And I slept with her in a double bed from the time I was 12 until I was about 20. And it was just like we had to sometimes hold on to each other because the sheets were so slippery.
That's sweet.
Oh, she had a beautiful home in pinks and burgundies and glass top tables. And just, it was a wonderful home for somebody who had been through so many traumatic things. She was so good to me. And anyway, when I was 13, I came home from babysitting one night and I saw my grandma sitting on the couch crying. And my aunt met me at the door and said, "Honey, your mama's gone." And I didn't know what she meant at first, and then I understood. And she had attempted again to take her life and was successful this time. So I remained there with my grandmother. My aunt and uncle lived, and cousins lived in a house down the driveway. And I continued to go to school in Inglewood. I graduated from Inglewood High School, and they gave me just a fabulous, fabulous life. They didn't treat me any different than the two cousins living down in the downstairs house. And I went on then to 2 years of college at the junior college near our home. And that's where I met my husband to be.
And were you still
Papa
living?
Gary.
Were you still living with your grandma when you were going to college?
Yes, I was. Yep, with
Oh
my
my
grandma.
goodness.
Yep, I was.
I'm picturing what you guys looked like. I'm picturing specifically the picture of you guys on your wedding day, and I'm just trying to envision a couple years before that. Like you
Mhm.
guys, what you guys were, what an iconic couple. Like
Yeah.
you looked so good together.
Yeah.
We're very good friends to this day.
Yeah.
We're not married anymore. Jerry is married to Kim, and we are very, very good friends. She introduces me as her wife-in-law.
It's one of those things that on paper it really doesn't make sense, and you really got to be in the family. But it just does work. It just makes sense, you know? And if you don't get it, sorry.
I
It just
know
makes
it's-
sense.
Yeah, Jerry is probably one of my best and closest male friends,
Mm.
and we talk often. And I love his wife. It's just it didn't come easily. That it's after a lot of prayer, a lot of forgiveness on both sides,
Mm.
and just God has been so good to me. When I was living with my grandmother, she was an active Methodist, and I became active too. I was in the chapel choir, and I was president of the youth group, about 90 in our youth group. And so,
Wow.
yeah, it was
It's a
quite
good sized youth
That's
group.
it was a
big.
huge youth group. Yes, it
Dang.
was high school, college, and she made sure that I went to family camps every summer. They were just great family camps, and I made a full commitment when I was just young to the Lord Jesus. And He is the reason that we're here today, because I wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for His wonderful love and forgiveness and the grace that He's poured all over my life.
Amen.
Yep. He's my most important person in my life is Jesus.
Samesies.
That's awesome, Gaga. Okay, so you guys, you met at college, and how long did you date before you got married?
We actually dated about 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Too long.
My kind of path. I'm on that same path.
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know that
So-
either,
4
which is
years.
admirable for the time. Because, I mean, I'm sure people got married pretty quick.
Yeah,
Right?
not as quick as they do these days. I
Oh,
don't think.
really?
Yeah, well, there are usually pretty long engagements. Yeah.
Oh.
But still, 4 years was a little too long. But
Mhm.
we started dating in 1956, if you can believe it. And then we got married in 62. So it was, it was longer than 4 years in some ways. But
And were you guys still living in California when you got married?
my husband-to-be was stationed in Texas in the Air Force.
Oh, that must have
So
been
I was an Air
hard.
Force wife for 4
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
So you guys spent 4 years together.
Yeah.
And then he had to go. Did you guys get engaged before he went to be
Yes,
stationed?
we did.
Okay.
We did.
That must have been so hard. That's such a
In some
sweet
ways, yeah, it was
that's
really
such a
hard.
sweet time that you want to savor
I
that
know.
engagement and then
I know.
hard.
But we rushed into things a little sooner than we should have. And when I married, Jerry and I were married in September of 62, and I was pregnant. And that is a whole story by itself.
Mhm.
But I have my wonderful son is 60 now, and he's 6'4" and weighs about 240. Very handsome young man. And I had Tony, then I had my daughter Jody, and then we had our twins, Patty and Polly. And Patty is Abigail's mama, and Polly, my second born twin, twin B, is Bailey's mama, and Patty and Polly have just been such a blessing to me. And they are truly my bestest friends. So
Mm,
we have so much fun together.
yeah.
We love to laugh and snort.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys should see them all in a room. It
really
is
get going.
so fun.
Oh my gosh. And bring your earplugs if everyone's around.
Yeah.
The laugh that comes out of, well, honestly, when we're all together, I think it all morphs. It all happens to all of us. Just
Yeah. I mean,
laughing.
it happens. I've even like been editing. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a Patty laugh.
Oh, so
Yeah.
maybe they've experienced, our listeners have experienced.
Yeah.
Oh, we have so much fun, though. It's just great. I've been asked to leave a restaurant twice because I
laughing?
couldn't stop laughing. No, I could not. And the waitress said, I'm sorry, you'll have to keep this down, ma'am. It's getting a little loud. And then it would just get a little louder.
Oh, well, that makes me
Oh.
feel more comfortable
Oh
because
my gosh, my kids were so embarrassed. Mom, can't you behave yourself in a restaurant?
I just feel like it's really not that easy to tell how loud you're getting sometimes. It's not an easy skill, Erin.
It's not.
Well,
We're
especially
loud.
when we're together.
I know.
Every-
We're a loud family.
We're a loud family. We have lots of fun. We love each other to the max, and we just have fun. I don't
And we
know.
love to laugh. We love to
do.
make fun of each other. We love to poke fun.
It's a love language.
It's a ball.
To give each
Yeah.
other a hard time.
It is.
It's a love
Our
language.
family is the best. I just think that my biggest blessing is my family.
I can second that 100%. I mean, a lot of kids, like, I think back in high school, like, we always would come over to my house because they didn't have a home like I did. And the older I get, the more I realize just really how blessed that we are to have the family we have. It's not common that,
No.
people's parents are still together, or, they get a call up their grandma's going to come over for dinner and enjoy that time, and
Right.
it not just be a holiday, or
Mhm.
I'm going to church with my grandma. Like, we really do find best friends within our family.
Oh, yeah.
And probably in that regard, I would say the most important thing is every family have their hitches and
Totally.
clashing things. Every family, the best families,
Mm-hmm.
but to have a spirit of forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
we need to always be prepared and eager to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Because without forgiveness, just kind of fills in all the cracks and crevices where there's been hurt words said, or someone does something you don't understand it and you get your nose bent out of joint. But to forgive, it means everything. And I think that's why my husband Jerry and I have made such a success at that God has honored our hearts, that we prefer one another more than we do ourselves,
Mm.
and we forgive. And there were a lot of things to be forgiven, and so we both have worked on that. And I don't know, it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to cover one another's failures with love.
Mm.
That's a Bible verse also. And so I prefer to go God's way than my own
Amen.
selfish way.
And what an example that you have been in that way too, growing up, knowing that
Thank you, Abby.
Gaga and Papa Jerry weren't together, but look at them. They can still remain really great friends.
Well, and it honestly, I think, went a lot more without being said. I didn't understand that. Yeah, Papa Jerry, my whole life he's been remarried to Grandma Kimmy, and I didn't realize what a choice that was for you guys to like
Mhm.
choose, because every summer we would go to Papa Jerry's house and Grandma Kimmy's house
Mhm.
in Idaho, and we'd stay there for a week. They lived on the lake, and that's my most fond memories.
Mhm.
And you were always there, and it
And it
wasn't
never was weird.
no.
It was never like, oh, Grandma Kimmy's there, Gaga's there. And what a blessing, too, that you and Grandma Kimmy hit it off.
Oh,
Yes. And, I would never go unless they invited me, but they just said,
they'd keep inviting you.
you have to come with the kids. That's all there is to it. We want Penny here.
Yeah.
It's such a gift. And I think about being in all your kids' shoes, and what a gift that would be to have
Mhm.
their parents who within their childhood had been divorced, and they saw a different side throughout those years of what that felt like to be the child in that home.
Mm.
And what a gift of like restoration of your friendship, to be able to see your adult parents along with your families of your own, and just to see the the grace that was covered.
Right.
I think that would be, I mean, I'm just putting myself in my mom's shoes. If my
Mhm.
parents had been, like you play it
Yeah.
out differently,
Mm.
what that really feels like. And that is such a gift.
Well, and it's a gift if you have children. My kids have all come to me at different times, all four of them, and have said, Mom, thank you very much that I never heard you talk badly about Dad.
Yeah.
We haven't heard him talk badly about you. And that there were a lot of things were sure behind closed doors that were painful for you and that you could have been bitter and Dad could have been bitter. But we just chose to make the best situation for our kids' sake. And that's when you choose someone else above yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's what love is.
Yes,
That's what real love is.
Real love is.
Yeah.
That. And we can only do that through God.
Totally.
It just can't,
It doesn't work else what otherwise.
you can have good intentions
Mhm.
at first, but the real follow through and to really feel that forgiveness
Right.
it's a gift from God. And so I just encourage anybody that I talk to, bitterness is one of the most horrible things. And the Bible says it actually makes a bitterness actually becomes a root
Mm.
in your heart. And roots can grow.
Mm.
They grow deep.
They do. And if we don't deal with the negative, hurtful things in our life, they are going to influence us all of our life. So
Right.
why not deal with them
Mm-hmm.
when you're younger,
Mm-hmm.
or when something happens to you, to choose to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and God will honor it 100%,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be free and clear. And it's much easier to smile than to frown. And
Oh, it totally is.
It
Yeah.
takes so much more energy to be down. And as hard as it is, maybe I have bitterness in my life now. As hard as it is to deal with that now, it's going to be so much harder if I keep letting those roots grow.
Oh,
and
it
grow.
takes so much more effort to stay
It does.
angry.
Yeah.
Well, and then you think, what if you didn't decide to go to that root and really prune that out of your life? Then we wouldn't have had those memories. Which,
Right.
ladies,
Idaho.
we need to talk about Idaho and the fun
I
experience.
know what they're going to talk
The
about.
fun experience that you gave us, the memory of a lifetime, Gaga.
Oh, honey.
Many, but
You know what? That whole, what you're going to share, that whole thing really helped to free me up. And I think from that moment,
Oh, was it free? All right.
we were all free. But you know what? That helped me to love Jerry's choice of his wife after me. And this sounds funny, but his wife and I are really good friends. And this was one of the instances that caused us to be really good friends. So I know the girls want to share this.
Abby hit it.
Did I?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it was a little traumatizing for me because I was so young. But no, these were special memories. But every year we would go to Idaho every summer, and they lived on this beautiful Lake Coeur d'Alene. And it was like once in that week that we were there, all of us girls would go skinny dipping.
Tubby dipping is what we would call
Tubby
it.
dipping. That was so much fun.
Yeah, every single, our moms, you, Grandma Kimmy.
Our cousins,
We were-
aunts.
There were 9 or 10 of us in the water.
Yeah,
There were
and
a
we
lot
would
of
tell
us.
all
Yeah.
the guys to go inside,
Mhm.
obviously. And we would stand on the end of the dock and jump in one by one, all of us more blindingly pale than the next.
And there would
So
be
true.
a little light from the up on the dock where we would lie to take sunbathing and
Yeah.
and jump on the boat to go fishing, whatever. And there'd be a little light from the place where we could change our clothes. And then you'd walk up a big long hill, and then there was their house on top of this knoll. Beautiful, beautiful home.
Yeah.
So we were down a ways from the light.
Yeah.
So,
Except one year, I so vividly remember we were
Mm.
jumping in, and then as soon as we were about to get out, a boat drives by, and you just see
Oh.
flash, flash, flash. And it's
Uh-huh.
maybe they were taking pictures of themselves, but I remember
I don't
We're like,
know.
get in the
all
water.
our moms were like, girls in the water now.
Stay low.
Yes. Get your necks down in the water.
Oh my goodness.
My mom's
Water
just
was
like,
black as could be, and we would just jump in it. I mean, we weren't afraid or anything.
Mm-mm.
It
Oh
was
my
great. We were
goodness.
so happy, laughing and
Yeah.
spitting water at each other. Anyway, go ahead, girls.
Oh, but that's just a true example of our family dynamic and just
Mhm.
like
Naked.
naked.
We
all-
are just who we were.
I mean, I do feel like us girls, we all like to be naked.
Oh my gosh, since we're talking about Idaho stories real
Oh.
quickly, I don't know if you know this story, Gaga, but I'm the youngest in my family.
Oh.
And so naturally, all my siblings and older cousins, they start developing before I did. And this happened a couple years in a row.
It was a tradition, some may say.
Yes. And traumatizing, some may say. But they had this really big shower, like with double heads. So we all would squeeze in the shower.
It was like a glass. All of us girls.
Yeah, all of us girls would get in the shower. And I vividly remember them sticking me in the middle of
Girl
them,
cousins.
of their circle.
Girl cousins. No adults were present.
Just girl, young cousins. I'm in the middle. There's like 6, 7 of us surrounding me.
8.
And 8. And they're just jumping up and down, circling me, saying like, Abby, this is what you have coming.
my
I'm
whole
just like,
my
That's funny.
my whole upbringing, I feel like I was just literally, well, Caleb, your brother, I'm 4 months older than him and 3 years older than you. And I feel like I was just by the skin of my teeth made it in with the older kids. And I would be like, yeah, we're harassing Abby. I'm like, I barely have boobs too. And I'm like, yeah.
You girls, you've always been so cute.
oh gosh.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I have to say before we go on about the skinny dipping story.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of the water. You know, after you've been in the water for a long time, how you feel so heavy. And
Yeah.
when you climb up on the stair to get out, well, I started going up that stairs, and I could not get up those
Well,
stairs.
it is a steep ladder.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
about 6 or 7
Yeah.
steps just going up out of the water, up onto the deck there. And so I was struggling. So here comes Kim, my wife-in-law. She comes up behind me and she puts her hands on my bottom and she pushes me up the stairs. And I thought, boy, this means we're going to be friends for life, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Gaga,
For
you're-
lifers.
We laughed so hard.
You
Yeah.
had to have been like, don't pass gas, don't pass
Oh, yeah.
gas. Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
No, I've made it that way. That was good.
Oh my gosh. Well, sometimes it's easy when you get to laughing to,
Get too relaxed.
yeah. Oh
No.
gosh. Her hair blows back. Sorry.
Falls into the water.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but I feel like every podcast here I am talking about gross things. Abby was like, okay, you went on a little long about the poop falling out of someone's pants, Bailey.
I'm like, should I just cut it at the half?
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
Well,
No,
you know
you're
what? That's
silly.
what I
Poop
love
is
about
funny.
this.
Farts are funny.
It
It
is,
is.
especially if it comes from someone else.
It's funny.
But you know what? We've always been just real with each other, and we find laughter in almost every area that you think of or we could talk about.
Yeah. I try to find in everything.
It's the only
Maybe
way
that's
through.
about. Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing that's really beautiful. Some of my cousins, my grandkids, you know,
Some cuz.
yeah, growing up, you know, there's frictions, there's different things, disagreements, whatever. But you know, I've always been so proud of how they stand up for one for the other, and they won't allow any gossipy words, or they truly love each other, and that's a gift from God too.
I mean, Gaga is the testament to Abby and I having our tough time. We both would go to Gaga, I
Mhm.
know, and talk to her. And
I know.
Yeah. I
And-
mean, any big significant thing that I've gone through as
Yeah.
an adult, especially, well, as a kid too, but as an adult, I always go to you.
oh,
You always
yeah.
have the best
Oh.
advice.
Well, honey, thank you. You
You
know,
do.
it's neat the trust and the love that has grown between all of us.
Mhm.
Abby and I were both saying earlier in preparation, talking about having you on, that you've always felt like such a safe place.
Mhm.
And I know that anytime I come to you, it's not like you're going to turn around and go say something to my mom if I've asked for.
No,
No, you just,
You're very trustworthy.
you are so trustworthy. And I just feel like whatever, it's such a genuine conversation that we're having. And it doesn't feel like, I don't know, it just is a true friendship, is what it is.
Mhm.
Oh, what a
Mhm.
compliment. Thanks, sweetie.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
We
as
are.
and as close as we are, I think it's so easy when it comes to family to, with good intention, share whatever I shared with you with my mom or something, because you want my mom to know and be in the loop, but you've never done that. You've always kept it between us, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, Abigail, thank you. It
Mhm.
meant a lot to me too.
Mhm. And I know my sisters feel the same way, and Caleb.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
so with talking about Papa Jerry, the dynamic of all of that and stuff, before you met him, or maybe even after you met him, we're talking about the times we've come to you and talked to you, which a
Mhm.
lot of those conversations for both of us have been about boy trouble, having relationship trouble or things like that. And you have always had great advice for anything to do with really, I just feel like you've imparted all of your wisdom, maybe areas that you're like, I veered left when I should have veered right. I should have listened to the people in my life a little bit more, but I chose to do this. So learn from me, honey. And you've
Yeah.
been very like, just you lead with your own experience. And I think we've talked about that, how it's so easy just learning from someone their own true experience.
Mhm.
And for someone that has such great advice, it means you've gone through so much and you have all these different stories. And so, going back to, before you met Papa Jerry, can you share with us like a worst date that
Oh.
you had?
We love a bad date story.
We love
Yeah.
that.
Well, I have two of them. The first
Oh.
one was with a young man in college. His name was Kurt, and his dad was like the city administrator for Inglewood.
Mm.
And
Big dog.
big dog, yes.
Roof.
And it was, you know,
Sorry.
I guess I felt it was an honor that he liked me, and he pursued me for a while. So we went on this date, and he took me to Disneyland.
Oh.
And we danced there under the stars and everything. But
Wow.
he was nice, but that was it for me. But so we got back to the house, and he insisted on wanting to kiss me goodnight, and I did not want to kiss Kurt goodnight. And so when we were kind of wrestling around in the car,
Oh.
and I turned my head like this, and he got a whole mouthful of hair.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny, Gog.
That was one. I mean,
Yeah,
at the
boy.
time it was kind of embarrassing, but then the second one was with my husband to be Jerry, and he had a really sharp little car, and we pulled up into the driveway, and all the lights in the house are out. It's very late.
And how long have you guys been dating when this happened?
Oh, maybe a year or
Okay.
so, 9 months, something like that.
Okay.
And I think we'd gone to a college dance. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, so we were wrestling around in the car again. Gaga!
This is just a UFC like
The bell. Ding, 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 ding.
John Cena. Penelope Fry. Okay.
See what I have to put up with.
It just snowballs,
I know.
I know.
Bing bong bing.
Well, anyway, I don't know what we were wrestling around about, but I
Gaga.
know. Never mind. All of a sudden, I said out loud, really loud, I said, "There's going to be a battle." And I meant it in a funny way. And all of a sudden, the lights all went on in the house, and my uncle and aunt came out on the back porch.
Just as after you had said that,
Yeah,
it was just perfect timing.
yeah. They heard me yelling that, and then the porch light went on, the lights in the living room,
Oh.
and I said, all is well, Penny."
Oh my goodness.
What kind of battle?
Oh gosh, I guess the car was moving around.
Oh.
We were wrestling. I mean that's
Wrestling.
Oh, I was so
That's
embarrassed,
funny.
though, anyway, and so was he. Our faces were red as beets.
He
Oh,
he
that's
probably booked it home after
Gotta
that.
go by.
Yeah.
Well, the house was in the front, and there was a long driveway, and at the end of the driveway was my mom's and my apartment upstairs. So I booked it up the stairs as quick as I could go.
Before the battle really begun.
Yeah, no kidding. Before Mama was awoken.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
reminds me,
Yes.
as she raised you, it's, you probably felt that generational gap sometimes
Oh, sure.
where she had what she thought would be right. And
Proper,
I remember, proper. I remember you sharing about she would set a timer for your curfew
Oh,
and would
she did
say, wouldn't she say, this better not like wake me up and this better not, you better
Oh,
be
yeah.
home to turn it off.
that. You better be home to turn it off. And one night I was not.
And it It went off.
Oh, it went off several times, and she had to get up and turn it off, and she was not happy with me.
That's honestly not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, because not only like you have to be home or you will be told on by that alarm.
Yeah, it will wake up the parent. I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, and it was always fair. You know, it wasn't like 9 o'clock at night. but
Right.
Yeah,
They liked me in by midnight or so.
that's fair.
Yeah,
That
it
is.
I think that's what my parents had too.
My dad's famous line was always, "Nothing good happens
Oh.
after midnight," which it's true. I
Right.
mean,
I know. What else can you do?
yes,
That's true.
wrestle in the car,
Yeah,
battle.
get ready for battle.
That
It
is
wasn't as bad as it sounds, but it's pretty funny when you think about it.
Oh my gosh,
that's so funny.
that is good.
So that was probably my worst date experience. And if I had to give any advice about dating advice, I think the first, at the time when I was dating, and I dated a lot in high school and college, but a person's attitude about themselves is so important. And I find younger people, well, I know this to be true with older adults, people too. Um, Number one, we compare ourselves with other people, which I think is so harming
Mm-hmm.
to us as individuals. If I'm comparing myself with another woman or another girl when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
or they have so much talent, or they have so many clothes, comparing. And I think what happens when you allow God to come into your life and to be a father to you. I never really knew about a father's love, and that's what I was always seeking for. But God loves us as we are, and He accepts us, He affirms us, He affirms me. I've heard Him say to me, Penelope, you're my girl. I love you. And it was when I was overweight, when I probably had a zit or two on my face, when I'd fallen on my face and had not made good decisions. His love is always the same. So, first of all, I think to learn how to accept yourself and try to be the best you know how to be, and not try to match up to the girlfriend or the boyfriend or to please a boy.
Yeah.
To just be yourself and let yourself be the prize.
Oh yeah.
So, for advice, that's what I would say. And then also to practice patience.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was waiting on God, waiting for the right one. And you know what? I didn't make good choices like that. And I paid for that because I went ahead of myself. I thought I had the answers. I was impatient. I was hurting. I wanted to fill that hole inside of me. And another person cannot do that. It doesn't matter how perfect the relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
Only God can fill that ache and the loneliness and that pain in your heart.
Right.
And I've had to learn that the hard way. But now looking back, that's what I could say to you girls, be patient, learn to love yourself, and always have a heart towards God. Will God help me to do it better, to be better, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all can make improvements in every way.
Totally.
But to know that you're loved by Him, that He has a perfect plan for you, and that you don't have to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I truly believe when you love God, it changes the way that you love others and the way that you think about yourself too. I totally agree with you. And Gaga, since I've known you, you have been single your whole life, and for someone
Your whole life.
for my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
for my whole life, and for someone that is single now, I go through seasons where it does feel lonely, and I just, I feel a little bit impatient. Like I just want it now because I just, I look forward to having that family one day. But for you that has been single for so long, you always have felt or seem to be so content. I know you are so content and you're at peace with your situation. How did you get there? Did you ever experience or do you ever experience feeling lonely or wishing you had someone to do life with you?
Well, I've dealt with that, Abigail, quite a bit. Number one, my childhood before I went to live with my grandmother and my aunt and uncle was fraught with a lot of pain. Hearing arguing, seeing fist fights, being in the home where there was a lot of alcohol and misuse of how you talk to others. I mean, when I became 22 when I got married, I went into that marriage with a lot of pain. And it was at that point, I think, that God was really able to get my attention. The Word of God became very precious to me, and I started reading it as much as I could. And that His Word would just seep into my heart. And I started to change, but it was God saw my willingness. I was hurting so bad, and I couldn't make the pain stop. And, like, why would my mom leave me when I was 13 years old? Anger would be up in my heart. And my dad, why did he leave her? And, all these things, and pointing my finger at everything. And then I realized that I too am a sinner, that I've made many wrong choices, and I began to open up my heart to the Lord. That's that's the only reason why I have changed. And there was a lot of loneliness in me, a lot of loneliness, and hurt and rejection.
Mhm.
But I took it where it could be helped and forgiven and healed.
Wow.
Right.
And
Yeah.
He's the only one that can. For me, there's
Mhm.
nobody else. There's,
Mhm.
of course, that led me to. I have been in counseling a lot,
Mhm.
and people do have good advice. And when they pray over you, things can happen, miraculous things. But the bottom line for me is God's first intent for us is that we would know Him, know His Son, realize what His Son has done for us,
Mhm.
and then, okay, Penny girl, I'm going to get to this pain in your heart.
Mhm. I think for so long we try to handle things in our own strengths. I mean, for me, I had to get to a point like I cannot do this on my own.
Right.
And so having that willingness and opening up your heart and handing it over to God, I think is where people can see that change start.
I do
Right?
too. And it's the
Mhm.
most life giving thing
Mhm.
we can do for ourselves.
Mhm.
And then it affects those that come from us.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so cool to think like I don't know, you just see the world with a different lens when you understand the love that had to have come from God, Jesus, what Jesus did for us.
Mhm.
And then it's like I am able to show up in the world at breakfast this morning. It's like, I'm gonna hold this door open for this person. Little
Yeah.
tiny things. Or
Yeah.
you even Gaga. She before we left the restaurant and got to the car, probably said to 2 or 3 people, you know what, I just have to say one specific and it's specific. It's not like you're
Yeah.
just trying to be fake nice. It's
No.
I really think you are the most adorable person I've seen today.
Mhm.
And I know that you meant that to that
Yeah.
woman. And
I
then
did.
I asked
Mhm.
someone to take our picture and Gaga says, you are so beautiful. And it's so
Mhm.
tailored to like that person and what you're
Mhm.
thinking. And I said, Gaga, I just admire your courage because I think a lot of people think things like, oh, I like that girl's shoes. I'm not going to say anything. And it sounds funny to compare like the grace that Jesus has given us to complimenting a girl's shoes. But it's those little things that like that could you said that girl could have been feeling really discouraged today. And if I
Mhm.
just feel that half a second in my brain, I need to tell her that. I'm going to tell her that. And it's
Mhm.
you never know what that will do for somebody.
Bailey, it's like we're farmers and we're always sowing seed.
Yeah.
It can
Mhm.
be a seed of encouragement in life,
Mhm.
or it can be discouraging and be seeds of death. What it discourages people. But I think that's one reason why God has kept us on the earth as long as He
Right.
has for each one of us,
Mhm.
because we are His light.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And those three people I talked to this morning, I wasn't trying to be on their jolly good list or anything. It's just it's this love of God in me. Reach out, touch that person,
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's powerful.
and you see the change. I mean, just light comes into their
Oh
eyes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's
Their
just
And
postures, I mean, it's like,
yes.
thank
mhm.
you.
Nobody's ever going to take I mean, I hope not. I don't see how somebody could take that and then have a worse day. Like anytime
Right.
somebody gives
Yeah.
me a compliment like that feels so tailored to me especially, it changes like my mood.
Yeah.
It feels really good. And I
Mhm.
think you're right. I think that is our duty to sow these seeds in
Mm-hmm.
onto people and then it's up to them, if they choose to water
Right.
it or not.
Right. Yes. That's
But
good.
yeah.
That's so good. Well,
Mhm.
every life is so precious.
Yeah.
and we have no idea what one another, what we're all going through something.
Mm-hmm.
We're all waiting for something. We're all hoping for something. And there are people that can come into our lives that try to squelch us or
Mm-hmm.
discourage us, or we know they don't care for us, whatever the reason is. And life is so short. Let's be life givers.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I've always loved Abigail and Bailey, your girlfriends, like from high school.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of became like my kids.
Yeah.
And I could just tell when I would love them and accept them and be happy, excited to see them, they would just light up.
Mm-hmm.
Gaga, that reminds me of my birthday party. We had my sister and I, our birthdays are both in November, and so we'd always have these big joint sleepover friend birthday parties. And my friend McLaren, who I've mentioned on here multiple times, she was there, and she came down the stairs one morning, and
I love her.
Gaga,
Too.
we all love you, McLaren. Gaga was sitting with her back to the stairs, so there was this big herd of girls coming down.
Oh,
And McLaren was the first one down, and she came around and was standing in front of Gaga. And Gaga just says, she called her Mickey Lulu, and she said, Mickey Lulu, I just have to say, and I think you said, you've always been my favorite friend of Bailey, something like that. And there's this whole group of girls behind, and I'm like, okay, and there's all my other friends that think you're their favorite.
I know. But you know what was beautiful about that, Bailey, was I had heard someone that had said something derogatory about her.
Mm,
And I didn't know all those other friends were right behind me.
mm.
But she needed encouragement. And I
Mm.
meant that with all my heart. She is just a beautiful young woman and
Mhm.
giving, for other people all
Oh,
the time.
yeah.
And so when I said that to her, you could just see her you could just see her,
Oh.
her spirit just rose up inside.
Become a little lighter.
And I was
Mhm.
glad that I
Maybe
had
you
said
did
that.
know that there was
Yeah,
everybody.
I was glad that they heard that I prefer her
Yeah.
because she's so wonderful and giving, and
Yeah.
she's not hotsy-totsy, like
Mm-mm.
some of the others could be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I remember that, Bailey, and I thought, oh, did I hurt somebody's feelings? But nope. I said, no, this was good that she could see me preferring her above everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Well, all of my friends adore you. And a memory that just came to my mind, which this person, Mariana, remember Mar?
Mhm.
I think you were meeting me. You were watching Henry and Adelie, my niece and nephew. And I was on my way home from like a high school football game or something. And Mariana's sitting passenger. I'm driving. And you had already gotten to our house in Bonnie Lake. And Mariana put my car in like reverse or something while we're driving. And it was pouring down rain, like bad. And my car, we needed to get it out of like the middle of the road. We were like right in front of the driveway. Do you remember this, Gaga?
Yeah, kind of.
And Mariana was like so scared that she broke my car.
Oh,
And the giving heart that you have, the servant that you are to help others, you hurry on outside and you were behind my car in the pouring down rain, pushing my car, Gaga, while Mariana was inside scared, watching Adelie and Henry.
Gaga rolls up her sleeves like, move aside, I can help.
Serious. Like up a hill, like.
oh boy. Well, those days are gone.
Oh, Gaga.
Oh, thanks,
Oh
Abigail.
my goodness.
That encourages me.
Gaga, you're the best. And
Oh, you
also, seconds before we started recording, Gaga dropped a bomb on Abby and I.
Oh,
And you told us you used to have a radio show?
Oh, I did. Yes.
What is that about?
Yeah.
This has been woven into our DNA.
I
We're supposed
know.
to have a podcast.
Oh my
Gaga.
God.
help a girl out.
Yeah, what? Give us some tips.
Yes.
It was. I only had it for about a year and a half, maybe, with a friend, Joe Rietti, my dear friend who was a professional guitar player, and we had it every Saturday on KBLE. It's still, that station is still there, and it was called New Life in Christ. And I would sing a song, and he'd play his guitar at the beginning of the program, and then he would give a short sermon, and then it would be over, and we would record that every Wednesday night in his house.
Every Wednesday.
Yes, isn't that funny?
Oh my gosh, that is
That
fun.
is so crazy.
I know it. I know. So maybe, I don't know.
Do you
That's so
so
cool.
did you guys have like a theme song every
We
Wednesday?
did. Yep.
Do you remember how?
I don't remember what it was. It was some scriptural song or
Okay.
Uh-huh.
something. But we
Oh,
wrote songs together too, and we would sing those, and then he would say, just give encouraging words. It was
yeah.
really good. And, we had some response to it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's cool.
I'm
Did
sure you did. You're such a natural, Gaga.
you really are?
So I don't know about that. No, I don't know.
No.
I know about it. You are a natural. You've already, I feel like, given so much wisdom just in this one episode, and this has
Oh,
been the best. This is my favorite episode.
Oh, hands down.
oh,
Mhm.
Abigail
Yeah.
Bailey, thank you so much. There's something about living life and then having an opportunity to share it.
Mhm.
And you're even teaching yourself as I mean, I didn't know what I was going to say today,
Yeah.
but I this is a golden moment for me too. I'll never forget it. So
Love
thank you
you.
so much, and I'm so proud of both of you. Both of you are just beautiful young women.
Well, Gaga, you've been such an influence on both of us and the life that we walk out. So
Oh,
thank you for being who you are
Mhm.
and letting us learn from the things that you've gone through. Thank you for going through those things
oh,
and
Mhm.
being such a great example for us.
Abigail Joy, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Bailey Jane, thank you so much. I
Mhm.
love you both.
We love you.
I love you, Gaga. One thing as we leave you today that I will never forget, and I share this with people all the time because I'm like, take it, use this because it's so sweet to me. But I don't even think I can say this without crying.
Oh, honey, here's some Kleenex.
I actually think I need it. And it's so not that deep, but you always have said, when we miss you, just pinch our skin.
Oh, that's it. That's a teaching that God Himself gave to me because my daughters, Patty and Polly, well, my son Tony and Jody, the same thing. We can't imagine living 1 hour here without you, Mom. Breathing the air that you're not here breathing. And I was praying and asking the Lord about that one day, and He said, "Just tell them they're wrapped in your skin." And that all they have to do is just pinch it right here, and there you are. So
Sorry. Give me
Bailey,
some of
thank you.
this.
I know that's impressed you guys, and it's really the truth. I mean, here's my mom, my dad, my grandma, grandparents. It's just I don't know. There's a lot more to life than what we know, and we just need to embrace the truths that God gives to us. And I just want to say to your audience out here, whoever listens to this podcast, to have hope, have courage. My great granddaughter Filson made this little ring for me that I wear. It's my courage ring.
Oh.
And I wore it today so it would give me courage to say what was true and what would be helpful. But never give up. Just never give up. If you ever have a feeling like you're going to give up, that is a total death thought. It's not true. There's a way to work things out, and just appreciate your best and closest friends that you can share with, and keep an upward turn of your face up towards heaven, because that's where your help and strongest courage is going to come from. And if you've never made that commitment, it's so easy just to close your eyes and just say, well, Abigail, Bailey, and Penny have been talking about this Jesus. So who are you? And show me.
Mm,
And He will.
yeah.
So bless all of you. God bless you all. I love this moment with you and with my adorable granddaughters.
Gaga not leaving a dry eye in the house.
No, I know. Jeez. Get me a tissue.
I love you.
girls.
Sorry, I
I
used
love
all
you
of
so
that.
much.
Love
This has
you.
been so much fun watching them set up their little studio and everything. Thank you
Oh,
so much. I've loved
yes,
it.
of course. It was fun. It was another learning experience for us too, having a little bit of a different set, but it was well worth it, and we can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, Abby and I are really planning. We have some fun guests lined up in the future, and we couldn't think to start it with anyone else other
Yes.
than you, Gaga. This is how
Yeah.
it was supposed to be.
Yeah, for
Thank you,
sure.
girls.
Thank you for being our first guest.
Yeah, thanks, God.
You've just poured so much love into me today. Thank you.
Ditto. Well, you guys, we are going to wrap it up there. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you guys found some special key moments in this episode like we did. And as always, we'll be seeing you guys next Wednesday. for another episode.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to see it.
I know. All right. We love you guys.
Love you.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.